did something. Now let's clarify for a moment. True or false? Christians have a high priest. True or false? True. Who is our high priest? Jesus. When you read in your Bible in verse number 2 and it says the high priest and the chief of the Jews, does this mean Jesus? No. It's the high priest of the Jews. You say, well, I'm confused. You told us the date is AD 60. And the church began about 30 years before that. So Jesus has already been high priest for 30 years. So why would there still be someone among the Jews serving as high priest? What's the answer? Not the high priest of Christians, number one. And number two, many of the Jews, let us say, the great majority of the Jews were continuing to follow the old law. Why? Because they did not receive Jesus as the Messiah. That does not mean that God was still endorsing the Jewish religion. It was no longer the religion that God approved. Only Christianity was. But the Jews continued to follow the Jewish religion. Okay, verse 2. Then the high priest and the chief of the Jews informed him against Paul and besought him, and desired favor against him that he would send for him to Jerusalem, laying wait in the way to kill him. Here's something I'm reminded of as I read these verses. Remember now, how long has it been since Paul was in Jerusalem when the Jews wanted to tear him apart in Jerusalem? How long has it been?
2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. Paul was sent to Caesarea where he is in custody. It's been 2 years. So something we're reminded of here is this. In human relations, sometimes hatred hangs on and hangs on and hangs on. For 2 years, Paul has not been in Jerusalem. He's done nothing to the affairs of the Jewish people in Jerusalem. And yet in their minds, they're still thinking, and their thought was false. They thought Paul had defiled the temple by bringing a Gentile into the temple, something that had never happened. You know what happens often in human relations? People get mad and stay mad about things that were never true in the first place.